In another video, I had spoke about something else in another video, and I used what happened in Greece as an example. I believe it was in the Washington Redskins video. And I'd like to elaborate just slightly on that. I'm not going to make this too big of a video here, not too long of a video, but in Greece, they were facing possible bankruptcy. And the Grecian people voted through a referendum in order to basically secede, in a way, from the Eurozone. To pretty much say fuck you to them and say, hey, we're going to do it our way or no way. And then what happens is, as politics is, this guy here, his name is Alexis Tsipras. I don't know. His first name is Alexis. His last name is Tsipras. And what he is the Prime Minister of Greece. And I'm going to quote this. After days of negotiation, on July 13th, 2015, Greek Prime Minister Tsipras, I don't know his name, came to an agreement with the lenders. Greece will get a loan of 82 to 86 billion euros, which shall be handed to Greece gradually from now until June 2018. In return, Greece will have to increase the VAT, that is, to reform the pension. Excuse me, let me say that again. In return, Greece will have to increase the VAT, reform the pension system, assure the independence of the Elstat, ELSTAT, automatically cut public spending to get primary surpluses. Reform justice Reform justice so decisions can be made faster. Follow the reforms proposed by OECD. I don't know what the heck that is. What is that? I'll look at that real quick, what that is. Wait 1 second. That's the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Revoke the laws passed by Tsipras, or whatever his name is, except for the one concerning the humanitarian crisis. Recapitalize the banks, privatize 50 billion of state assets, and decrease the cost of the public sector. In return, Greece would be given the Juncker package, 35 billion euros, which will help the Greek economy to grow, unquote. On July 3rd, 2015, during an address to at least 25,000 people gathered in the capital's Syntagma Square in front of Parliament, he rejected some leaders' warnings that a no result in Sunday's, I can't even pronounce that, plebiscite, I don't know, plebiscite, could see Greece forced to leave the Eurozone. He declared, on Sunday, this is what he's saying, Alexis is saying, on Sunday, we are not simply deciding to remain in Europe. We are deciding to live with dignity in Europe, unquote. The result of the referendum was 61.3% voting no, unquote. Now, you have the Grecian people, through a referendum, they are deciding to be pretty much independent from this Eurozone. And that happened on July 3rd. And then with the bankers and all these other assholes, and really was the wealthy elite families. You always hear bankers and bullshit. No, wealthy elite families. 10 days later, on July 13th, 2015, all of a sudden, well, we're going to go along with everything. What's really interesting in here, it says, revoke the laws passed by Tsipras, Alexis. Recapitalize the banks. And main thing is privatize 50 billion of state assets. Privatize that. You know what that means? In other words, you're going to take what the state owns, 50 billion of what the state assets are, and privatize it. Who's going to get privatized? The banks, or these wealthy elite families. In other words, Greece really didn't even have a referendum. That was just smoke and mirrors. That's bullshit. And what happened was is that these bankers, so to speak, or these wealthy elite families, and these very high officials in government were basically saying, look, it was almost like Saddam Hussein, or any of those fucking assholes. Fidel Castro, or what's going on there with the Iran nuclear deal and all that shit. You either do it our way or no way. You defy the powers that be, we're going to shut your ass down. And the only way Greece could get out of that is to go to war and try to win, which they would lose against, between NATO and between economical embargoes with the World Trade Organization and with all the other states or countries in the Eurozone. There's no way Greece would win. Not the way the world is set up right now. So, I think he had Fidel Castro or someone, supporting him. But they take the entire Cuba out in about 1 hour if they wanted to, believe me. So, thing is they forced his hand. And they ignored, or the powers that be said pretty much fuck you to the Grecian people. And pretty much said, you're going to do it our way, or fucking forget about it. We're going to put you completely under. And so they made this deal, which is, pretty much put them under anyway. Because if this deal, what they have it all set up as, if they don't come through, they're going to be in the hole anyway. Actually, they'll probably be in the hole anyway. They're never going to get out of debt. Now, that goes to my point of the video. I always sort of lead in and eventually get to my point. The point is the powers that be, either the wealthy elite families or the very high officials in government, which are basically controlled by the wealthy elite families. They run the world by two words. Two words. Two little tiny words. And I don't mean peace or victory. I'm talking about two little words. And that is debt and war. That's all. It's very black and white. Very black and white. So you either go into debt as a whole entire country or nation, or if you don't like what we propose to you, you could always take us to war. And in this case, Greece would lose in a war. So what other choice do they have? They have to go into debt. That's the way the world's set up. Especially since, I talk about the Commonwealth of Nations, aka New World Order Part 1 and Part 2. And it basically started around the 1890s. And that's what's been going on ever since. Debt and war. And it's a silly game. It's really a game. But once you join up, so to speak, become a member of, Greece was a member of Eurozone or the EU. Once they join up, it's very hard to get out. Just like America. We're a member of NATO, a member of the World Trade Organization, or a member of the UN. Now, you pay a lot of money to be a member. It's not free, by the way. I don't know if anyone knows that. The UN itself, I don't know if anyone knows this either. The UN, United Nations, is situated in New York City. It's a sovereign territory. Understand? Even though the building and the land is situated in New York City, it's not a part of America. I don't know if anyone knows this. Probably no one knows. I should do a video on this alone. The UN building has its own zip code, has its own flag, has its own postal service, has its own police force, and it's a sovereign territory. Understand? It's sovereign. It was given by outside of the high political officials at that time when that building was built. Outside of that, the New York politicians, the federal government, giving that land away to build this UN building. It's actually mainly donated and built by the Rockefellers, by David Rockefeller. The point is that UN building is on sovereign territory. You understand? It's not, even though it's in America, it's in New York City. When I used to work in New York City, I used to pass by that building all the time. All the time. But it's not a part of New York City, and not only is it not a part of New York City, it's not even a part of the United States of America. It's its own sovereign territory. I don't think anyone knows that probably in America. Very few people do. You should research on that. Find the history. Blow your mind. So, we're a member of that. And we pay a fee. America pays a fee to be a member of the United States, the United Nations. We pay a fee, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. I don't know what it is right now. It's like in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and every country pays that fee to be a member of the UN. So my point, I use America as an example, but Greece is also a member of the UN. Now, they could stop paying their membership fee, but then they're not protected by a lot of the negotiations or the agreements via the UN. Now, personally, I'm 100 million% against the UN. I am seriously anti-UN, and someday I'll get into the 9/11. I like to do a 9/11. Actually, let me my little thing. I'm going to do a 9/11 someday. You'll get a kick out of my take on 9/11. But to give you a little teaser, when I lost train of thought. When 9/11 happened, okay, there were I hate that when I lose my train of thought. When it's in your preconscious, and then you think of something else, and then you lose it, right? And it was a good point I wanted to make. I can't remember what that was. Well, anyway, it's too late now. But anyway, I'll talk about 9/11 in another video. It's pretty interesting the reason why 9/11 happened. It wasn't. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I'm going to say it right now before I forget it. It's amazing how on 9/11 that those quote-unquote hijackers of those planes, why didn't they go into the United Nations building? I know no one ever thought of that. Only someone like me would think of that. That issue was never raised. You know, those countries over there in the Middle East, those little countries like Iraq, you know, under Saddam Hussein, he defied the UN. You know, after Osama bin Laden turned on the CIA, because he was a CIA operative when he fought in the late 1970s for the CIA, right? Eventually he turned on the CIA, or the federal government, right? Basically turned on the UN. All those guys, all those characters were very anti-UN. Very anti-UN. Yet they go after the World Trade Center buildings. Why? Why didn't they go after the UN? I'll address that in another video when I do the 9/11. I'll do a 9/11. You'll get a kick out of that. I have a lot of insight in that. Very interesting stuff. But anyway, the point is Greece had a referendum, and the Grecian people wanted basically to secede or to become independent from the Eurozone or from the EU, and wanted to do their own thing. And then there was deals made behind closed doors through the Prime Minister. And then he decided to go along with everything that the people voted against. And what they're doing, it appears like they're bailing Greece out. But what they're really doing is they're putting them further into debt by interest. I mean, they just, like, here, what do they say? They give them, they're going to give them a loan. It says a loan for 82 to 82 to 86 billion euros. What is that in? Let's see what 86 billion euros is in United States money. Let's put that in United States money. How's that? To dollars. Let's see how much that money is, so it registers properly in our brain. That is $94 million. Guess it's not too much. No, that's, let me see one. Wait, what's it? No. Wait, no. I got it wrong. I knew there was something wrong there. I was like, what? That's not too much. Okay, here you go. There you go. Now it makes sense. Now it's making sense. All right, it's now 94 million. It is $94 billion. 94, exactly. I'll tell you exactly what that is. It's $94,544,530,000. $94 billion. Okay? Now, how it reads is Greece will get a loan of $94 billion or 86 billion euros. Okay? A loan. Now, everyone knows what a loan is, right? They don't just give you a loan. They don't just give you money. No, there's interest attached to that. Can you imagine? I don't know. I don't have no details of what that loan entails. But I bet you that loan is huge as far as the interest. Now let's just say for the hell of it, just the heck of, just and this is until shall be handed to Greece and gradually over a period of time until June 2018. Okay, now let's do it on the low end. Okay, let's do 94. We'll go and do it in dollars. Okay, $94 billion. Now, we're going to do it on a lower end just to be benefit of the doubt. Let's say it's at 5%. Let's just say 5%. Maybe higher, maybe lower. At 5%. 5% interest. Well, see if I can bring that up. $94 billion at 5% interest. It's to what? I don't know if I can even do this. Well, actually, we'll do it this way. This is what we'll do. Google's not. Sometimes Google's pretty cool, but sometimes it's not. Google is. I always consider Google search engine like a near genius experience, but it's not a genius experience. It's you still have to sort of. Okay, so let's say it's at 5%, 5% interest on that loan of $94 billion. By the time they pay that off with the interest, it's $470 billion. So that's 470 billion plus 94 equals $564 billion. Got that? $564 billion. I don't know if it's 5%. Could be lower, it could be higher. I don't know. But $564 billion. I don't know how long that loan goes for. It says that they'll gradually get the 82 to 86 billion dollars. 82 to 86 billion euros or $94 billion over a period of time until June of 2018, which is basically a 3-year loan. Like I said, I don't know what the interest really is, but let's say benefit of the doubt 5%. It comes out to what was that again? It comes out to $564 billion. So these bankers or these very wealthy elite families make $470 billion off that loan. Now, who pays for that? Who pays for all that shit? Well, it says it right in there. They're going to privatize $50 billion of state assets. Privatize it. Understand? That's going to pay for that fucking interest on that loan. Getting the picture? They're taking that. It appears that Greece is doing okay now. They made a deal. Everything's fine. No, actually, they're going under. They're going to put them under even further. They're slowly taking away governmental assets, weakening the infrastructure of the entire country. And they will wind up in another situation again. Why? Well, because it's the interest that's compounded along with the actual principal amount. So you wind up saying to yourself, look, maybe maybe had a chance. Maybe we should have went to war. What the hell? At least we had $50 billion worth of state assets. If we wait it out in 5 years or whatever now, we won't even have those state assets. And who knows what those state assets are? Probably land, buildings, probably land, a lot of land. Who knows what it is? Bonds, it could be all kind. Well, probably not bonds because their economy, their government is weak, their economy is weak. It's probably land. So these wealthy elite families buy up pretty much or wind up owning a lot of the land in Greece. And that's how they take countries down. They take entire nations down through debt or war. They're your only two options. The way the entire structure that has been set up since the 1890s is debt and war. Now, America is a perfect example. We're completely in debt. Completely in debt. The only way we can get out of it is to have another American Revolution. But that's not going to happen. That's a fantasy. You have some knuckleheads out there with militant groups and all this bullshit. Talk. They save all their guns in a chest or whatever. No, they're living in a fantasy world. It's a lot different. It's not the 1800s right now. They have F-16s and tanks. They have tanks now. I don't care how your house is built. They have a tank that will roll right over it. Right over your house. A plow right through your fucking house. That's what kind of tanks they have. They got tanks go 45 miles an hour. Take your house right down. F-16s, all they have to do is shoot one damn missile from miles out of the sky, and all your guns and all your chests and your little militant group go up into the air. And then they say, well, we're digging our bunkers into the ground. Are you fucking kidding me? You don't have fucking NORAD bunkers, man. You don't go down miles into the ground. You'd be lucky if you go down maybe a couple hundred feet, if that. I don't even say a couple hundred feet, probably. Maybe 50 feet into the ground. You fucking kidding me? One of those fucking missiles from a fucking plane comes down, take your fucking bunker out in a minute. Not even a minute. Less than a second. So, chances of us going to war, we'll lose in this day and age, unfortunately. Debt? Well, they just wind up owning the entire America over a period of time. That's all. It's the way it's set up. There's not really a win-win situation. I mean, Americans can empower themselves, like when I speak of the Power of the People video, then along with the 16th Amendment, 16th United States Amendment, when I speak to that. But outside of that, we're fucked. And we're not Greece isn't the only country. America's the same way. Except they're being nice to us. They haven't really threatened us. But I don't know where we're at. I'm going to end this video in a moment, but what is America's deficit? I think it's like $17 trillion or some shit. America's deficit. What the fuck is that right now? Let's see, it's, I think it's 18 trillion? 8 trillion. It's crazy. It's fucking insane. Let me see if I can find this here. Wait 1 second here. I'll bring this up here. I don't know if it's even... Wait, it has to load. It's like loading. It's called the... U.S. National Debt Clock. So right, and it just continues to compute, So yeah, we're at 18 seats, 100 million, billion, trillion, $18 trillion, and it keeps going up. $18 trillion. That's what. So what they have done to us, they are going to do to Greece and to any country or any people that defy the powers that be. Grecian people wanted to be independent, and they said, no, you are not. We are going to take you under one way or another. You might as well make a deal with us. You have maybe possibly a tiny bit of a chance to stay alive for a little while as the Greece that you know it now. But we're going to take you out eventually, and they will. It's just a small, maybe a little, give them 3 years, just a little bit more time, Greece is going under just like America went under, and many other countries as well. And that's reality. And reality is a pain in the ass, but that's reality. That's the cold facts. So my point of the video is, you have these Grecian people that had a referendum, and the majority of them, what was it again? The percentage was percentage was 61.3% of the vote, so the majority of the people didn't want to go into this situation that they wound up in with this after some days there of negotiation, they wound up with an agreement with the lenders, and they didn't want to go that route, but they wind up going down that road anyway. Because, like I say, the only other option is to go to war, and they lose. And I've always respected Greece because they're one of the oldest civilizations around the world. They've given us great art and philosophy. If anyone's into like Aristotle and stuff like that, man, in my early 20s, I grew up with Aristotle. He was like my quote unquote god. I mean, I loved Aristotle. I mean, it was badass. And man, I used to read all his stuff, his ethics and his poetry. He was just a really deep thinker. But anyway, the point is Grecian culture itself, its civilization throughout the centuries, is just so rich, not in monetary wise, but it has such depth to it, and to see it go under because the powers that be want it that way, and they're pretty much saying this to the Grecian people. It's a shame. It's a real shame. So anyway, that's my little take on Greece. But yeah, they're gonna go under because they're losing a war, but they're gonna go into debt, and it'll buy them a little time. But if they went to war, it would be over very quickly, and they'd lose. But with the debt, they're going to debt, and it'll be more of a slower process before they go completely under. It's a sad thing, but especially with the Grecian people that voted. But the powers that be, or the wealthy elite families, really don't give a fuck about the families that are living in Greece. It's all about power. And if you defy that power, well, like I say, they'll either take you out in war, or they'll take you out in debt. That's your two options you have. Debt and war. And with that, I'll let you guys go.